want to tell the story here of Target. Now, it came out in the New York Post just a couple of days ago. Target's top executive dismisses the social media uproar over the retailer's new line of LGBTQ-friendly kids clothing. Outraged shoppers have posted videos and images on social media showing bathing suits that offer an extra crotch coverage, as well as rainbow-covered onesies for infants and children. Other offerings that raise conservative hackles include T-shirts that say, Pride Adult Drag Queen, Katia. Trans people will always exist. Girls, gays, theys. So, in the podcast last week for Fortune, called Leadership Next, the CEO of Target, Brian Cornell, was asked about the backlash to woke capitalism, and specifically about Budweiser and Disney. He said, I think these are just good business decisions, and it's the right thing to do for society, and it's a great thing for our brand. The things we've done from a DE&I, diversity, equity, and inclusion standpoint, it's adding value. It's helping us drive sales. It's building greater engagement with both our teams and our guests, and those are just the right things for business today. Spokesperson for the company told Associated Press the tuck-friendly swimsuits are only offered now in adult sizes. Kids collection does not feature the label. Oh, well, that's nice of them.
That's great.
Yeah. When we think about purpose at Target, he said, it's really about helping all the families. And the word all is very important. Most of America shops at Target, so we want to do the right thing that supports families across the country. I know that the focus on diversity and inclusion and equity has fueled much of our growth over the last 9 years. So it was, last week, the story was, they're going to stick to their guns. Well, Target came out on yesterday, Tuesday, said the retail giant is going to pull some of its LGBTQ-friendly kids' clothing from its stores after facing customer backlash. Just days after the company's top executive dismissed the social media uproar, the Minneapolis-based chain said one of the main factors in the nationwide adjustment ahead of Pride Month was because some customers had become violent with workers. Well, I hope that is not true, and if that is happening, I don't want anything to do with that.
Idiot if you were to harass a Target employee violently over clothing.
You're an idiot.
Of any sort. But still, I mean, this is what they always say, right? Like,
I know. So I don't know if I believe anything.
Yeah, they always say, we've had death threats. This is what is always said. The death threat thing is particularly comical for anyone who happens to be in, I don't know, AM talk radio.
Yeah, I know. Suck it up, Buttercup. Jeez. Since introducing this year's collection, we've experienced threats impacting our team members' sense of safety and well-being while at work, said the Target spokesperson. Given these volatile circumstances, we are making adjustments to our plans, including removing items that have been at the center of the most significant confrontational behavior. Target declined to say whether it would remove the tuck-friendly women's swimsuits that allow trans women, they're men, who have not had gender-affirming operations to conceal their junk. My words, not theirs. One of the LGBTQ brands being pulled, however, is Abprallen, which makes T-shirts, sweatshirts, bags, mainly because, it's occult and satanic themed LGBTQ T-shirts and stuff. I mean, I don't know. Criticism has been widespread, Target spokesperson said. Folks are reaching out with feedback, and while some are sharing it with constructive criticism, they disagree with product decisions that we have made. Target shares were down 3% yesterday at closing. So it's good for their brand. Good for their brand. No, actually not good. You are beginning to have an effect. Anyone that you know is like, let's go and tear it down. Tell them they're a moron. You're beginning to win. Already, ESG, any ESG fund is way down. They're not introducing, they're introducing half of the number of funds than they did last year. That's because you're winning. Now you have Budweiser on the ropes. I mean, have you heard the ads from one of the local bottling companies in Alabama did an ad, and it's a really bad ad, but it was like, we're sorry. We don't have anything to do with this. We have nothing to do. We're all local people just like you. We disagree. We have nothing to do with this. But it's bad.
I think this is a really fascinating case study, the whole Bud Light thing. And I think the Target thing is rising to that level as well, in which, like, I don't know exactly how these things work or how you do them or how you make it happen. But, like, you know, like we were talking about this a little bit off the other day. Obviously, Miller Lite is one of the big alternatives for Bud Light. Mm-hmm. I swear Bud Light is the one. This is Sarah Gonzalez's point, but which I'm stealing. But I swear Bud Light leaked the Miller Lite ad because it was old.
Oh, sure they did.
They pushed that out there. I think but Miller Lite's the alternative, right? And then they were doing this too. Now, of course, Coors owns Miller Lite. So Coors Light and Miller Lite are in on all this stuff too. And then Michelob Ultra also released an ad a while ago that had a transgender athlete that we just all missed. Like, I didn't know what happened.
I don't care who teaches everybody a lesson. Somebody needs to teach and be taught the lesson.
That's what's fascinating here is, like, maybe that's the answer, because you really can't boycott everybody that does things that you don't like. It wouldn't even be consistent with capitalism to boycott everybody that disagrees with you.
Correct.
But
it's not even possible.
It's not possible in this society, but it's also, like, not consistent with the principles of capitalism. Yes. Like, you're not supposed to only do business with people you agree with. That being said, when you have an example like this that is making a big difference, their sales are down 24%.
Yes.
Their stock does seem to finally be reacting to this. For a while, it really hadn't reacted.
Because I don't think people thought it was serious. It was going to last.
Right. And so now you're seeing them panic. You're seeing real reaction. Disney's the same way. Like, I don't know that Disney's business was particularly harmed by any of the stuff that happened there. But it might be. I mean, a lot of the stuff that has been talked about, we talked about this with the DeSantis situation, they acted like they were blaming DeSantis for this $1 billion project that they shut down, when in reality they had already pretty much shut it down previously. But still, like, nobody wants to be the next Disney. Nobody wants to have to deal. No one wants to be the next Bud Light. No one wants to be the next Target. So why bother with this stuff? Just stay out of this discussion completely.
Well, I will tell you that I hear from Ramaswamy, what's his first name? Vivek Ramaswamy. He said, I talk to business leaders all the time, Glenn. He said, there's a few of them that are held hostage. He said that they're like, we don't want to do any of this, Vivek. We just can't not do it.
I think that's more common.
I think so too.
Than we realize.
And you start teaching. I don't know if Target is a true believer or not. Boy, they sure seem like it.
But the fact that they're moving clothes out from the front to the back.
Yeah, but they're only doing it in certain cities, et cetera, et cetera. I think they just I boycott. Don't, and this is a women's thing, really. The men who go to Target and they're like, I'm going to tear your face off, are not the ones that they're going to concern themselves with.
Also, are there actually any of the people?
I don't
I've never
know.
Seen one. It's possible, I suppose, that some idiot is doing something dumb.
Yeah, but you do, one person does something dumb and then it becomes the whole thing.
Yes.
But women, and I mean, Ricky, our executive producer, she's like, I'm trying not to go to Target. It's been 3 days. I'm having a hard time not going to Target. And I'm like, well, we can, I can give you a 12-step class to go to. We can, we'll do 12 steps to get you off of Target. But it's the women that are going to make the difference in this one. And if you keep this up, if you teach Target the Anheuser-Busch lesson, you've got 2 in a row, and kind of with Disney, 3.
I think Disney counts too.
Mm-hmm.
I think, too, one of the things that's interesting about the Bud Light thing, and I've gone through this myself, is it's not as much about some sort of organized boycott against this company. Because honestly, I don't know that, like, I've heard a lot of people talking about that, but it's not like a typical boycott that we've been on the other side of, right? Where you have all these big organizations. One of the things I think with Bud Light, and maybe Target is getting to that point, is that it's created some level of like societal like ickiness. Like it's one of those things that like I think I mentioned this story. I went to a wedding and they had all the beers up there. You could choose whatever you like. And normally, but I'm going to have one beer at a wedding. I'll probably have a Bud Light just because it's the one But I looked at it and I was like, I don't want to get a conversation about transgender issues tonight with somebody. I'll take a Miller Lite. And I think that is like what is actually affecting the sales. I don't know that it's like everyone be like, yes, we have people who are shooting, Kid Rock is shooting his Bud Light with machine guns. Maybe that's part of it. But I think part of it too is just like people want to avoid it. And it's created this societal pressure on people to just choose something else.
That's when that happens, when somebody comes into the house with a Target bag, or you say, oh, I got this at Target. And they'll say, you're shopping at Target?
Yeah.
That's when this will change.
That's when it happens.
That's when this will change.
Yeah.
And
it's amazing.
I think I've been saying this for a while. I have really good feelings. I mean, bad crap is coming our way. Don't get me wrong. For those of you who listen for the doom and gloom, I'm still here. But good things are happening as well. There is something happening in America. And the Anheuser-Busch going down and staying down. And now just in a couple of days, I mean, the icky feeling happened with me and my wife when we were walking through Target, and it's right there. It's in your face. And as I'm walking down the aisle of Target right in front of the cashier, and I see all of this, I'm like, really? This is who you are? This is who you think we are? You think that transgender needs a display up front? How many transgender people are there? You are grooming our children. It really bothered me.
Yeah, and when you look at, we just talked about this with the social media alert from the government yesterday. They said as a positive, one of the things about social media was it helped people, develop their identity in LGBTQ issues. That was one of the positive effects of social media. And they had tons of negatives like suicide and everything else. But one of the positives was if you happen to think you might be LGBTQ, this helps you develop your identity. And it's like, well, that's just saying that social media is there to walk you. I mean, grooming is actually a really good word for that.
It is.
It is. It's different than the criminal version of it. But it's a pretty applicable word.
They say the thing that one generation tolerates, the next will embrace. If you look at casual sex, we tolerated Bill Clinton. Well, it depends what the definition of it is. And all of a sudden, it became totally cool. Sex and, oral sex, all of that. Totally fine. Kids doing it in schools almost immediately. Okay, remember that? So where was that story that was in Virginia,
Alexandria,
Virginia. Anyway, there was this happened overnight. What are we tolerating? We are now tolerating Satanism. We are now tolerating our children being groomed for trans drag shows. You know what this embraced as a society?